Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is ATrueGamer, and here is my Araxxor Melee Beginner's Guide. If you need to kill Araxxor for Morvran's Special Slayer Challenge or the Soul Reaper title and can't quite afford tier 90 range weapons, then this guide should help you out. One thing to note is that there are 3 paths that can be taken during the fight. Only 2 of these paths are open at any given time, and the cycle changes every 4 days. This guide only covers the cycle with path 1 blocked off, leaving only paths 2 and 3 available for traversal, which will make completing the fight for the first time with melee much easier. Let's go ahead and start with equipment. For this demonstration, I'll be using full bandos, a skill cape, a fury, and a 6th age circuit. Of course, you should upgrade all the slots if you can in order to maximize DPS. I'll also be using a vampirism aura, holy wrench, and Drygores. As for your inventory, you'll need a shield. I'm just going to use a chaotic shield, although lower tier shields will work just fine. You'll also want to take an overload, a prayer renewal potion, an adrenaline potion, 2 super restores, and some Ceradomin brews. I'm bringing 18 4-dose vials because they're more cost effective, but if you feel more comfortable with flasks, you can bring them instead. Now we want to go ahead and summon a pack yak and fill it with rocktails, then fill up the extra slots in your inventory with rocktails as well. Here's my standard dual-wield melee action bar with Cera brews added as my primary healing source, because they don't reduce your adrenaline when used, and rocktails as my secondary. For the fight, I'll be using the Slice ability, Sever, Decimate, Havoc, Sacrifice, Dismember, Destroy, Assault, Slaughter, and Stomp. I'll also use Anticipation and Freedom for Araxxor's special attacks, Resonance in certain situations with the shield, Debilitate, and Devotion if you have it unlocked. Have your quick prayers set to deflect melee and turmoil, and make sure to have your familiar options set to take BOB. Now off to fight Araxxor. Come around this way and climb over the low wall. Then go southeast. Enter the cave. Cross the gap. Run down here and click on the web. Press the spacebar, then option 1, and then option 2. Now run east and you'll spot 3 pathways. If you're on the cycle I specified earlier, you should see the northern path blocked off while the middle and southern paths are covered with webs. In this guide, we'll be taking path 3. When Araxxor appears, look at the tips of his legs. If they are either blue or green, press escape and exit to lobby. Keep doing that until Araxxor appears with red tipped legs. This is his melee form, which will help us move him around so we can utilize the Slaughter Threshold ability during the fight. Pot up, activate your quick prayers and aura. Now attack Araxxor once or twice and then use Anticipation or Freedom to help deal with his special attacks. One of which is the Cocoon. Araxxor will wrap you in a cocoon and deal damage to you. In order to break free, just spam click Araxxor. The time it takes to break free will be longer if you don't activate Anticipation or Freedom beforehand. Araxxor has 3 special attacks in this phase, which he'll use after every 4th or 5th attack from now on. So be mindful of this and activate Anticipation or Freedom before then. Another thing to keep in mind is that he is unable to use the same special attack twice in a row. His second special attack is Cleave, which he'll use to drag you toward him in order to swipe at you with his legs. What you want to do here is run away in order to avoid a massive chunk of damage. So make sure you don't pin yourself against a wall while you fight him, otherwise this attack will be much harder to avoid. This attack can also hurt your familiar if it's too close. The third special attack is the Cobweb. Araxxor will wrap himself up and heal 5 times at 1,000 life points each if you're in single player mode. If you attack Araxxor at this time, it will stop the healing, but the damage you deal will be reflected back onto you. What you want to do in order to stop the healing and also mitigate the damage you receive is use the basic bleed ability called Dismember. Then equip your shield and use the basic defense ability called Resonance in order to heal a small amount from the reflection damage. Afterward, re-equip your offhand Drygore and continue with the fight. Now in order to move on, you'll need to burn down a web that covers one of the available pathways. So run over to the southernmost web and burn it to open path 3. This will start a countdown meter at the top of the screen. Do this early on in the fight during his cobweb phase, as you'll have some spare time while your dismember bleed is in effect. Once the meter at the top of the screen reaches 0, you'll be able to move on to phase 2 of the fight. Now continue to fight Araxxor until his health is under 5,000, as this will reduce the amount of extra health he'll be able to regenerate later on. Once you're ready, head down path 3. Equip your shield, turn off your curses as you won't be needing them in this phase, and remember to drop any remaining empty vials you may have if you brought them instead of flasks. The screen will go dark, which will cause you to take constant damage. Pretty soon after, a spotlight will appear, so quickly run into it in order to stop the damage. After a while, the spotlight will disappear and a new one will appear somewhere else in the strip. Make sure you utilize the Surge magic ability in order to reach the spotlights more quickly. During this phase, you need to keep an eye out for these spider eggs. When they appear, there will also be a fiery explosive flying through the air. You can either let the explosive hit you, take 3,000 damage, and kill some spiders that hatch, or you can run over to the eggs before the explosive goes off in order to destroy them and only take 300 damage. The latter will raise Araxxor's rage meter a little, which increases his accuracy and damage output. Also look out for Araxxor's green magic and gray ranged attacks. With your shield equipped, you can use resonance in order to heal from them. After a little while, Araxxor will charge at you and you'll have to click on an arrow key that corresponds with his movements. Left, right, up, and down. After 2 successful dodges, you'll move on to phase 3. But if you do happen to get hit by his charge, you'll still cause some damage to the wall, but the amount will be lower, which will prolong phase 2. When phase 3 begins, re-equip your offhand Drygore, activate your curses, and pod up. You can either stay in the pathway to fight Araxxor, or move to one of the more open areas. Phase 3 is a lot like phase 1. Araxxor uses the Cocoon, Cleave, and Cobweb special attacks like before. This time though, he'll also use his Spotlight ability from phase 2, and spawn highly acidic spiders. You can click on these spiders in order to lure them over to Araxxor for him to absorb. This will increase his rage meter, so it's best to do this once he's at low health in order to mitigate the potential damage. If you choose not to lure the spiders, then they will be absorbed automatically by Araxxor in the 4th phase. Lastly, you want to keep an eye out for projectiles that cause green puddles like this one to appear. A few moments after the projectile hits the ground, a single spider with a meter above its head will come from it. You need to stay away from these spiders at all costs, or they'll kill you in one hit when they make contact. Just avoid these spiders, and after their meters fill up, they'll explode. Once you knock Araxxor's life points down to 0, phase 4 will begin. Start spamming the floor when the cutscene starts in order to skip past part of it so you have some additional time to prepare for Araxxor. Pod up, fill your inventory with rocktails, and activate your quick prayers. Since we're using melee, we don't have to worry about prayer switching like one normally would while ranging or maging, so use soul split instead of deflect melee. Keep an eye out on your prayer points and make sure you always have high health during this phase. Once Araxxor kills Araxxor, start laying into her! Don't let her steal your kill like that! She can use all of Araxxor's special attacks, so make sure you use Anticipate and Freedom accordingly. She's also locked into the center, so your slaughter ability won't be as effective as it was with Araxxor. Once she reaches 50,000 life points, she will no longer use special attacks and her rage meter will increase. At 25,000 life points, she'll drain your adrenaline by 50% and increase her rage meter again. This would be a decent time to use a dose of adrenaline potion in order to access your thresholds a little faster. She'll also release some black sludge, which will bounce around about 7 times before coming to you. Do not panic. It will not hurt you until it finishes bouncing around. When it does finally come in contact and you see the red hit splat, move 1 step away to stop further damage from it. This will cause the sludge to start bouncing around again like before. Rinse and repeat until Araxxor is no more. And that's pretty much it. Congratulations on your first kill. I was actually pretty lucky with the drops during the making of this guide and got a spider leg bottom and an Araxxor fang, back to back. So I'm pretty happy about that. Anyway guys, thank you for checking out my guide. If you found it helpful, please give it a like. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll catch you all in the next video.